welcome back to our podcast. Let's talk about it. A podcast brought to you by the Lesniak Institute for American Leadership. We are a nonprofit located in Union, New Jersey, here on Kean University's campus. We're your hosts. I'm Felipe.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Claudia.
And today we will be discussing back to school.
Woo!
Yeah, so we're located on Kean's campus. So we kind of want to give our personal opinions and testimonies on what we think incoming students should do, whether you're a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, or senior. This applies to basically whichever level you're at. And yeah, so I guess I'll start. So when I came to Kean back in like 2017, for the most part, my freshman year, I was not really involved on campus at all. I just went to class and went home, and then a switch kind of flicked in me, and I realized I was not maximizing this opportunity I was given. So I actually came into Kean as a communications major. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I like talking to people.
New lore unlocked.
I know. And I thought communications meant talking to people. Although it is, right? But it's like different forms of it. Yeah. But I like conversating, like one-on-one, like connecting like this. Mm-hmm. And after my first year and then going into my second year, that's when I realized like I wanted to switch majors. And then I literally went through every single major that Kean offered. Like I went down the list of every single major, which is all available online. Mm-hmm. This is all like information that anybody could get. Mm-hmm. And then I saw public administration, and more specifically, I saw that like nonprofit management part. Mm-hmm. And I've always been in like the nonprofit world. So then, and I always admired the work they do. And I thought it would be like an awesome field to get into. So I changed majors. My first semester of my sophomore year. So my advice to students in regards to that would just be like, you know, the major that you come in with doesn't mean it's gonna be your major for all the 4 years. For some people it is, and that's great, and for some people it isn't. But you have that liberty of switching. Mm-hmm. But it is better to switch during your earlier years. Yeah.
Isn't that scary? Thinking that, let's an example, you started one career and thinking, oh, now I have to do an extra curriculum, I have to do extra classes. Isn't that scary?
Yes and no.
Yeah, it's terrifying, but like usually your sophomore year, you're still taking like the general classes that everybody's taking. Mm-hmm. So if you switch majors, it doesn't affect you like that yet. But if you're like a junior or senior and then you switch majors, that's when that gets really scary, because you already took specific classes for your major, and now obviously you're going into a new pathway. So that those classes that you took, they no longer count, I guess you could say. So you have to take like whole new classes and stuff like that.
But a lot of majors have like a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to the credits that you need. So sometimes it's like, oh, you need 2 1,000 level classes, or 2 like 3,000 and 4,000 level class. Like it could be any class across like any class held at Kean. So there is a little bit of wiggle room depending on like what major you switch to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So then once I switched majors, I decided to try to get more involved on campus. I had a few classmates that were involved in things, and I was honestly just tired of just going home straight after class. I wanted to put myself out there, network with people. So I decided to like go to events like Kean Day, or like Meet the Greeks, mm-hmm. or like the internship fairs. Like I decided to put myself out there and go to events like that. And that was honestly one of the best decisions I made while I was in school. I met so many new people, whether it was friends, like professional connections, like cool professors and stuff like that. So that was a big step for me. And I remember my junior year, I joined the Leadership Institute, which is in the Center of Leadership and Success at Kean. Mm-hmm. And through that program, I met a lot of cool people, and we did a lot of projects. And we actually, my project was like, we visited an animal shelter, and we helped out, like we volunteered at the animal shelter and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just like those opportunities happen because I put myself out there. I decided to like talk to people. because at the end of the day, getting your degree is really important, but just as important is making like the connections and networking and stuff like that. And yeah, so through the networking and all that, I graduated with my BA in public administration. And then I had a good relationship with the PA department, and I knew I wanted to go back for my master's. So then I reached out to like the PA department and my previous professors, and they told me about like a way that I could go into grad school and get assistance, like financial assistance for it. And that happened because I had a good relationship with my professors, and I reached out to them. And then they told me to reach out to the program director in the School of Public Administration. And she basically recommended me like the GA position. And from there, I got a GA spot at the Office of Government Affairs. And through that GA-ship, I met the former director of the Lesniak Institute, Sarah Mack. And kind of like, just like really like putting myself out there led me to going to get my master's, which led to me meeting Sarah, who was the former executive director of the Institute, connecting with her, like meeting her and talking to her. And then now I'm the executive director of the Lesniak Institute.
That's awesome.
So it's like one little, like, it's like a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. I guess you could say, like, it starts here. And as long as you just keep going, those relationships that you make, they really, like, benefit you in the end. So, yeah, that was my story.
I had, like, not a super similar story to you, but, like, kind of, like, following the same trend. I actually was undecided for my first 2.5 years. I didn't even pick a major until late in my junior year, and I didn't like even apply to like be in that major, because for certain, like, when you're undecided and you have to pick a major, you have to like pretty much like apply for it and like do all the paperwork for it. So I didn't even do that until late in my junior year of college. I originally thought I was going to be like doing psych stuff, so I took a couple psych classes, and then I was like, no, that's not for me. And so I started taking some business classes, and after probably like 3 business classes, I was like, not for me. So I took a lot of classes I didn't necessarily need, but it still worked out. Once I picked my major, I was able to talk to my advisors and really like get the classes sorted. And I still graduated in 4 years, even though I switched majors 3 times during that period of time. So don't rush the process. If you don't know what you want to do, or you're still trying to figure it out, enjoy taking classes, sign up for stuff that you think you would be interested in, and work out like what you like and what you don't like, because regardless of what people tell you, they might tell you need to know things at 17, 18 years old, but you don't. Mm-hmm. You can figure it out as long as you have a good relationship with your professors and your advisors. You'll be able to figure it out easy. When it came to like going to events and getting involved, I lived on campus. So, after about a week or 2, I got bored of just hanging out with my suite mates and being in my room all the time. So I wanted to get out there and find new things to do. So I went to Kean Day. It's, I think, my second week in. Mm-hmm. And I joined a bunch of clubs. I met a bunch of people. And I was able to do stuff on the weekends, do stuff after classes. It was way less boring because I had stuff to do on campus and people to like talk to on campus, even though I was literally a freshman. So it made transitioning way easier, and it actually led me to joining a sorority, and then I was able to get really involved in campus and do a bunch of clubs, do a bunch of service opportunities, a lot of philanthropy events. It was a really cool opportunity, and I got to know so many people through Greek life. So it was a good experience. Always get involved. Even like if you want to get used to being in college and school, you don't have to wait until, your second, third semester. You can really just go for it. If you're dedicated enough, if you want to put the time aside for it, you can make it work. I was also working throughout this too, so it was a lot to juggle at once, school, work, and extracurriculars, but I don't regret doing it because I made a lot of friends, and it made college like really, really fun for me.
Yeah, I worked as well, like throughout my whole college career, and it was, like you said, a challenge. But sometimes you have to prioritize things that will help you in the long run, and making those connections and putting yourself out there at the end of the day is what's gonna benefit you.
Yeah,
the most.
definitely. And doing all of that stuff, you know, joining all these clubs, going to all of the events on campus, working full time and doing school full time. It sounds like a lot. It sounds impossible, but it's not. It really just comes down to time management and organizing your time and, you know, your priorities correctly. You know, I would make a huge Excel sheet on top of having my planner. Like, I was one of those girls who had like color-coded classes. I wrote everything down.
Yeah.
Every assignment, everything my teachers told me, everything that was on, you know, online on the website, all of my appointments. It looked crazy. My whole life was scheduled out to the minute, but it really did allow me to do so many things on campus. So regardless of what that looks like for you, you know, an Excel sheet might not work for you, a planner might not work for you. Find your own way of organizing your schedule, and you will be able to make the most out of your college career and your years going to school.
That sounds more from a perspective of someone who has their life figured out. You guys, you know, it's good that you talk about this. You know, it's like, you're already, I mean, although you switch careers in the middle of like your studies, but then what about those who didn't even know where to start? Those who, like, just an example, like myself, I'm a college dropout. I started thinking I was going to be a music teacher, you know, because I was all in like the rock band and rock and roll. But now
We'll put a picture of Kevin right here.
now that I'm 32, and I changed from being a, you know, like all music, now marketing, and I even thinking of changing my career into a tech, you know, studying coding. What about those people that don't know where to begin?
I mean, I was that person too. I took so many random classes at Kean. I took classes in history. Like, I know I said I switched like my major 3 times, but I did take like a bunch of extra classes in a lot of different areas. I took an extra science, I took extra history classes just because I wanted to like explore. Some classes were just really interesting to me and I wanted to experience it. And then I tried a class out and I realized I hated it, or I didn't want to go down that path. I'd say if you don't know what you want to do, you know, start out with your gen eds and then take a fun class. Take something that like sounds interesting to you, and if you don't like it, then move on to the next.
But what about those people that don't have the luxury to like waste time? You know, someone actually is, and I'm probably like in the 40s, and it's like, you know, it's like I can't afford to waste time. Because not everyone can be like, oh, yeah, let me just take a fun class. What about those people?
Well, I guess they gotta like manage their time well, and you know, if they're going to school, you know, that late, or you know, they have full-time jobs, it's really because they want to get an education in something. Yeah. That's usually the case.
Most people like that age, they already know, like they're already in a field where they know the only way they're kind of going to get a promotion or that raise that they really want is to go back to school. Mm-hmm. I've been in classes with like older people, and most of the time they already have a career and they're just trying to grow in that career.
There's also a lot of online classes now, asynchronous classes, even if you don't want to do the hybrid of like, you know, hopping on a Zoom call and going in once a week. There are asynchronous classes where they pretty much just lay out the coursework for you and provide which textbook to get, and you submit work and you answer questions and you really study by yourself on your own time, and your professor pretty much just gives you feedback and, you know, walks you through the curriculum like that. Sometimes they pre-record videos. I know some of my professors did this during COVID when we were still quarantined. they would record whole lectures and we would have to watch it and then like do our work on it. So there are a lot of different options for people like who are really busy or might not know exactly what they want to do. There are still a ton of ways that they can figure it out.
Yeah. Like for people, like I was in a position where I couldn't like fool around, for sure. I knew like after the first semester of my sophomore year, I needed to know which major I wanted to go to, because then if I didn't, then I would be taking classes that might not like be counted towards my major in the end. And I wasn't in a position to like, you know, like take a bunch of classes. So I really like sat down and did my research on like what matters to me, what are my passions, what's something I can see myself doing. And if you haven't figured that out yet about yourself, then I just like, again, like put yourself out there. The only way you're gonna find out really what you're interested in is by joining a club or doing stuff outside of campus, like joining an organization that you really like. You got to like look inside yourself, you know. That's what I would say. But Kev, what advice would you give students? You know, as you said, you didn't go to school, right? What do you think they should take from this experience of going to university?
Well, one thing I will say is to take action. Any action is better than no action at all. And like in my cases, I don't want to commit to 4 years, so I don't want to, you know, like have the burden of, you know, I have to pay the student loans. Just taking online courses is just as equal as good as, you know, surrounding yourself with information and resources. Just like Claudia said, that, you know, the information is out there.
No, yeah, for sure. And you know, also there are a lot of different offices here on campus that are here to help students, and some of these offices students might not even know they exist. So we're going to give you a list of cool offices here at Kean University that we think you should know about. The first office that I want to highlight is the Office of Career Services. That office does resume workshops. They give you career advice. They do internship fairs. They do networking events. And I had a personal experience with the Office of Career Services. They helped me get my graduate assistantship position back when I was looking. Shout out Paul Casey. And he really helped me out. And they really care about the students and they want to see you succeed. And they have workshops like constantly, always.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. So I think students should take advantage of like different offices on campus for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of these offices have social media pages. I know Career Services has an Instagram. They have LinkedIn page. They're always posting stuff. They're very active on it. And I know from like us reposting stuff on our page, like they respond quickly. They're really interactive there. So it's not too difficult to find information.
Yeah, they're great. Another office I want to highlight, the Center for Leadership and Success. We kind of talked about them a little bit earlier, but they have programs for students that are freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, and they basically they have the Leadership Institute, which is a great place to network and meet like-minded students, and also work on projects together and get skills on like collaboration and team skills and stuff like that. So yeah, they're in the Martin Student Center.
Another one we want to highlight is the Wellness Center. Most schools have, you know, their own wellness center. Kean's Wellness Center is in Downs Hall. They have student mental health services there. They have individual and virtual counseling. They have crisis counseling for, you know, nutrition, yoga, mindfulness. They have meditation programs.
They have the Cougar Pantry.
They do have the Cougar Pantry.
They have like non-perishable foods that students could come get if they're, you know, hungry and can't afford food. There's a lot of resources here on campus, and I think the Kean Wellness Center is one of the most slept on places on campus.
Yeah, the Cougar Pantry not only has food, they also have, you know, cleaning products, stuff for households. They have, you know, menstrual products for people who menstruate. It's really, really helpful and really accessible to just walk in and be like, hey, I need this, and it's given to you easy.
Yeah. And, you know, at the end of the day, if I could say like something to take away from this episode of our podcast is that we want all students to understand that you are given the opportunity that you are given right now should not be taken for granted. Being a student at Kean University is a privilege. And if you are not using this opportunity to the fullest, you are potentially missing out on career opportunities, networking opportunities, and making lifelong friends. Because I know I've had career opportunities thanks to Kean, networking opportunities thanks to Kean, and I definitely made lifelong friends because of Kean.
Yeah, definitely. And we're super involved on campus too. So if you're looking somewhere to start for, you know, new opportunities, hit us up.
Yeah. Or if you don't know where to go on campus, you have a specific issue and you don't know where to go, come to us. We will guide you in the right direction of where you could go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And I think in 2025, you're going to be seeing a lot more of the Lesniak Institute at Kean University. So that pretty much wraps it up for today's episode of Let's Talk About It, episode 10. Episode 10. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time.